Hello everybody, welcome back to another virtual art class. I am Mrs. DeYoung, the art teacher at Scroggins Elementary. Bienvenidos de nuevo a la clase de arte. ¿Cómo están? How are all of you? I miss you. I wish we were in the classroom together, but I'm so happy that you're here and that we are going to be making artwork together today. So we are going to be making salt dough ornaments today for spring. Vamos a hacer adornos de pasta de harina o masa de sal. So this is a fun project that we can do to welcome spring, and this is a fun way to incorporate math. We're going to incorporate science, writing, and artwork all in one. And I do have my son Zion here today. He is going to be helping us. So let's welcome him and get started. You will need 3 things to make your salt dough. Necesitas 3 cosas. You will need 2 tazas de harina, 2 cups of flour, 1 taza de sal, 1 cup of salt, y 1 taza de agua, okay, and 1 cup of water. So 2 cups flour, 1 cup salt, and 1 cup water. Now, your water, you're just going to use as much water as needed. So you may not need the whole 1 cup of water. We'll just wait. Okay, so we are going to mix our flour and our salt together first in the bowl and then gradually add the water. So Zion, go ahead and dump in the flour. And I know you've been studying science this past week, Zion. So if the flour is like the rock, and we have the salt, which could be the minerals, okay? And then we're going to gradually add water over time. The rock gets broken down and turns into what?
Soil.
Soil. So we are mixing up, just with our hands, the flour and the salt and the water. If you were baking bread, this would be called kneading the bread. It's looking pretty dry, so we're gonna add some more water gradually, which means slowly adding our water, and just keep mixing it up. If you accidentally add too much water and it's too sticky, all you need to do is add some more flour. So you really cannot mess this up. Okay, so this is about a good consistency. So what you're gonna do is, Zion, go ahead and take a ball of the clay,
Okay.
of the salt dough, and you're gonna kind of work it into a ball. So this made quite a bit. So if you look back up on our recipe, we had 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, and 1 cup of water. Okay, if you wanted to make a smaller recipe, what you would do is cut it in half. Okay, so that would be a bonus math question. If you can send me a screenshot of what our recipe would look like if it was cut into half. So you would get half this amount of salt dough. So Zion, if they were, let's give them a little hint, if they're cutting this recipe in half, and this one calls for 2 cups of flour, how many cups will they need in their new recipe?
1.
1 cup. Okay, so there's a little help to get you started. So you're working this into a ball of salt dough, and it shouldn't be so sticky to where when you touch it, it's sticking to your hands. It should not stick. Okay, so we have our 2 small batches of salt dough, and let's just kind of stop and look at what we've done so far. So this is another little bonus activity. If you would want to write a how-to make salt dough and take a screenshot and email that to me, that would be awesome. I would love to see your how-to writing. Okay, so you have your ball of salt dough, and now I'm going to show you how to make your egg shape. If you don't want to make the egg shape, there are many different projects that you could do with this. You could make a sculpture, you could make, I have some butterflies here. that Zion and I cut out with a cookie cutter. If you have cookie cutters at home, you could use those. We also made a little bird and a nest for spring. It's an exciting time because spring is here, so flowers are blooming, birds are out. This is a little spring decoration that we made. We rolled out the egg shapes and we put little holes in them, and then we strung them actually just on dental floss because that's what we had, on a branch, and put the branch in an old bottle. So that's something that you can make to decorate your house for spring. So to make the eggs, you want to get a little piece of your salt dough, roll it between your hands, and pat it just like if you were making tortillas or gorditas or pizza. If it gets a little too sticky, this is a little sticky, you might want to add a little bit more flour to it. Okay, so we didn't have a cookie cutter of an egg shape, so we just took a toilet paper roll and we're gonna squeeze that just enough to make the oval shape. Make sure you get all the way and then pull it up, and there you go. If you need to press down to make it a little bit bigger, you can do that. Okay, Zion, you wanna make one?
Sure.
Press it all the way through. Okay, so there's your egg. Okay, so now what you want to do is lay it over in a clean area, and you can use a pencil or a toothpick. I have a little piece of the branch here, so I'm just going to use this to create a hole before you bake. Make sure if you want a hole in your ornament, you put that on there before you bake it. Okay, so like I said, the possibilities are endless. You could create your own design, or you could create a spring decoration. Okay, so we rolled out our dough, and now it's time to make your creation. So you can make your spring eggs with your hands or a cookie cutter if you have them at home. After you create your salt dough ornament, you are going to bake at 250 degrees for 2 hours. Now, if your ornament is really thick, then you need to leave it in the oven for a lot longer than 2 hours. You'll just have to have your parent or guardian helping you out to make sure that it's dried all the way through. And then lastly, you can paint or decorate. So this is what it would look like in the pan. These are the ornaments that Zion and I made, and I put them just in a regular baking pan. You don't need to grease the bottom of the pan, you just put them straight on there. And then let's pretend like these have been in the oven for 2 hours on 250, and we want to let them cool. Make sure someone is helping you take them out of the oven. Make sure they're cooled all the way. This is one that Zion had made earlier. It's his hamburger. This is our little nest. So this is what they will look like when they come out of the oven. Okay, so at this point, you can choose to add color. If you don't have paint at home, then you can use markers, okay? Markers will work as well. But if you have paint, any kind of paint will work. Acrylic works the best. You can just go ahead and load your brush up and paint away. I would paint a base first. I have the dental floss in there, but obviously you wanna do that later when it's dry. Okay, you wanna paint the base first, and you want to make sure that that's good and dry, and then paint on. After you have finished painting and you have your egg or your sculpture just the way you want it, and it has dried, then you can hang it by either a piece of dental floss or a piece of string, whatever you have at home. And I went out to my backyard and just found an old branch and put it in a bottle and hung my eggs. And now I have a nice spring decoration for my house. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Zion, for helping out in the art classroom. Gracias por mirar esta clase y ten un buen día. Thank you so much for joining along with us. I hope you all stay healthy and stay well.